Up ADD fam. We are family. We all got ADD. So for those of you that kept up with me, hey kitty, there goes kitty. Poor cat gotta run for her life. So we've got a family of kitties back here. And we made these crates for them so they don't freeze to death. Insulated and all that. Kitties are two big ones. Made them a little area back here. These outdoor cats, obviously, made it. It's waterproof. They can go into there when it's raining and stay dry. It's got, it's off the ground. It's got a roof and cushion, food, water. We're constantly feeding them, taking care of them. These outdoor cats, in addition to our indoor cats. But anywho, that's not why we're here today. So, as I've mentioned before, I've had a million and one crazy events and close calls. So, let me give you one of the close calls. One that just come back to me. My friend JP, okay, I have a friend JP, Donnie, and Kevin, and Aaron. We're all and Nikki and Mandy were friends that I was very tight with at a time. Donnie was the best man at my wedding, etc. We was all hanging out a lot together, all those people. So that's when I used to hang out as well. My buddy Aaron that killed himself, he's part of this group. But anyways, we're going home one night, and I'm riding with JP, and we get pulled over. And we're right outside my neighborhood, right? So we get pulled over, and JP's got his tags messed up, or his insurance is messed up, something or other. They're taking him. They're going to take him to jail for this, whatever it is, right? So we're sitting there, and one cop pulls up, then another cop pulls up, then another cop, then another cop, then another cop. It wound up being 7 cop cars rolled up on us. No bullshit, no exaggerating. 7 cop cars ran up on us and searched his car, searched us. My dumbass had a weed pipe in my pocket. I get out. They said, step out of the vehicle. And so he goes to search me and he finds the pipe. Cop does. And he says, did you ever play baseball? I said, yeah, why, I guess. He said, you take this thing and chuck it as far in the woods as you can and kick rocks. He says, you can get a ride from here? I said, yeah, no problem. Like I said, we were right outside my neighborhood. He said, you throw that pipe in the woods, you better throw it to where I know you can't retrieve it. If you bullshit with me, you're going to jail. I said, yes, sir. So there was this, it was right by this, not huge, but there was a patch of kudzu, whatever, It was a big area. So like I said, if I would have tried to throw it like a little bitch to where I knew I could retrieve it, he would have taken me to jail. So he cut me a break, chuck it, and so I'm leaving. But in the midst of this, I'm watching this whole investigation going on. Like I said, there's 7 cop cars. There's a gazillion cops. This is at night, and they got JP in handcuffs. And they found the pipe on me and let me throw it away. And for whatever reason, the 7 cops roll up. I don't know what the deal was, But like I said, JP was going to go to jail for, I don't know what, I have to find out from him. Whatever it was a minor infraction offense, and so I got him out later that night. But there's a gazillion and 1 cops. They search us, they frisk us, they go in and out of the car. All 7, every single one of the cops that came and went did their own investigation. Meanwhile, there's an ounce of pot in the coin holder. This is like an older Nissan Sentra, maybe. There's a lot of times there's a little coin slot right by the right to the left of the steering wheel, and maybe down a hair, but it's right there. There was an ounce of pot in there. not even hidden in, just in this, it was just like, a little lever. You pull this lever down and there's change. You pull this lever down, there was an ounce of pot. Not one fucking cop was smart enough to find that shit. So off jail JP goes, and off on foot I go walking home. This is in the day, I believe, with maybe pagers was relevant at this time, but definitely not cell phones, way before that. And so, yeah, it had to be pagers. So I get home, I call my dope man, a good buddy of mine, Fuji. This guy I talked about was getting all kind of shit fronted to him from this Mexican mafia dude. So I call Fuji up, because I know he's got plenty of cash, and tell him the circumstance, and ask him if he can help me if we can go get JP out. So Fuji, somehow I arranged a ride for my license, and it was fucked up at the time, something or other. I wasn't driving it this time, I said there's times that I didn't have a car and my license suspended, just got out of jail, whatever. There was quite a few times that I dealt with this kind of shit in that time. This is one of those times. So I had to arrange a ride for me and to go pick up my dope man, pick him up, and went down to Cobb County and bonded JP out. And we bond him out, then we go pick up his car at the impound. Fuji pays for all that. Get his car out, there's a fucking ounce of pot. Drive home, yada, 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 etc., etc. Another one is, like I've said, that I had 1,000,001, pins and needles close call. Another one, it wouldn't have been me, would have been on P, but it was an ounce. It was like was 28 to 32, so it was definitely an ounce. Mine was half a gram short of one, if you know the story. So there was that. Then I never did get to finish off with the Freemason video. Okay, so I worked for this guy. I meet this guy online, and I start working for him, doing carpentry, painting, and remodeling, right? And this guy, I don't know it yet, but he's a mason. So we're doing. This is not even the window company guy. This is another guy. I worked for two different guys that were masons. So we kept going to people's houses that were masons, and it's hard to even put into words and descriptions how I would know, but you just know. People got, they got stars, out the front of their house. They got some memorabilia. You go up in these people's houses, they've got the skull, the compass and square, all kind of signias and all kind of shit, right? So I work for this guy, and like all our customers are masons. This is before the window mason job. Okay, this is probably a year or two, maybe a couple years before this. And I'm working for this guy, and we're working for all kind of masons, and it's just the same as any other job, same as any other customer. Just, they're masons. No different than if you're doing guys' houses and they're all Jewish, or they're all Christian, or they're all whatever. You see what I'm getting at. So it's known. It's becoming known. It wasn't revealed to me, but it's becoming known to me rather quickly that all our customers, once again, have something in common. So was that. They were, like I said, the good. They don't talk about it. The guy I worked for never said a word, never said anything to me about it. It was me, and just knowing what I know after doing all the research I have. By now, I can identify and pick up on these things, right? And it's not hard. Anybody can do it. But, I'm just giving you the backlog. Like, this wasn't explained to me. Nobody said nothing. This is just me. ADD might just be a nosy and, inquisitive, wanting to know everything type of person I am. Especially when it comes to, crazy out there shit, next level kind of stuff, whatever. So we've been working for masons, and now we go to work for that job. We go out there that day. The first day, we're on this job for a week, right? So it was a week going on 2 weeks. You can see the job. I have the job and the progress of the job and all that is on video. If it's not, I think it's right here on. I think it's right here on YouTube. And if it's not, it's on my Instagram. I'll send it to you if you haven't seen it and you're that interested and you can't find it. It should be very interesting. Excuse me, very easy to find these pictures, okay? I'm going to hang out in little kitty land. I'm waiting for the babies to come back. So we go out to this job. You go down, and right before you pull up this Mason Lodge, okay, it's this Mason Lodge out in the country. I'm not going to go in specifics. I'm not going to tell exactly where it is or no shit like that, right? But if, you know, it wouldn't be very hard to find it and limit it. But that's not, that's not, if you want to know that bad, it's on your own recognizance. I'm just telling you what I seen, etc. So I'm working on this job, and we are, and yeah, you see what I'm under a tarp. You see above me all the tape, it's black. That's like places I've cut my tarp with a razor knife, that kind of shit, right? So that's why it's always see all the black. Let's see if we can do this. Okay, so we go out to this job the first day, and we get there, and I just happened to catch the square and compass. I just catch that like out of my peripheral vision, right? Because it's let me see, we're getting to the job like 8 o'clock in the morning, and this kind of shit. It's early in the morning. I'm not as attentive and focusing on everything, so I'm just pulling this job like any other job, and I catch a compass and square out of the corner of my eye, and I look, but I already go down the road, so now I have to wait till the day's over to see it. So then I see it that day, and then I continually see it. We pull into this road that's right next to this Freemason Lodge, right? We pull down this dirt road. We're kind of off in the country, and you go down this road, and it's all houses, and it's all private property, all this kind of shit, right? So the second house we pass is a sheriff's car, right? You with me? So the first house or two we pass is a sheriff of this town I'm in, and we pass another house or two, past something else, and I forgot the other one. There was something about one of the other houses, but the house we're working on, we pull into this house, and there's a house next to it, and they're doing work on it. And the guy's house that we pull into his driveway, he's got like U.S. Air Force kind of shit, right? Army, whatever, U.S. Air Force, yada yada yada, yada yada yada, right? You've seen the same kind of shit, and you never would think nothing about it. It didn't have there wasn't a Freemason insignia on his car. There wasn't, no square and compass, none of that kind of shit, right? But he had, like I said, he had Army stickers on his car. So I didn't think nothing of it. And then it wasn't even the first day that really even dawned on me, but it was within the next day or two, I start to really focus in on, we're right next to a Freemason lodge, okay? And now it becomes evident. I picked up it. I thought about it, but the first day that we were there, my head wasn't in anything but getting the job done. We had got materials, we were loading, unloading materials, this and that, and I wasn't really paying attention to it. It wasn't till the next day or so that I realized that there is, in this backyard, and you see the picture, we're working on this deck all the way around this pool, and behind this guy's property is a runway chute as big as a football field, maybe 2 football fields, and it's an airplane. It's where planes come and go, right? And this is right next to, or catty corner to, the Freemason Lodge. Okay, you with me now? So the guy's house I'm working on, he's obviously a Freemason. All his neighbors are, obviously. I ask him how he likes it. He says, oh, he loves it out there. So much fun. I said, I bet, I imagine. And as I'm saying, and if you're picking up on this or not picking up on this, there's this private road, there's this Freemason lodge, and out in the middle of the woods is an airplane hangar. There's, a runway where planes are coming and going. Quite odd, quite strange. Use your imagination. So there's an actual airplane hangar across. There's this guy's property, right? He's got a pool on his back deck, and then he's got a little bit of grass, and then there's this huge field. On the other side of this field, on the other side of the football field, envision, square footage, it's huge. It looks like two football fields out in the middle of, cleared out in the middle of the woods, nowhere, right? So on the other side of this field is an airplane hangar, and envision now there's an airplane hangar, but it looks to be much larger than just much larger than a place that you could just store an airplane or two. It looks like a place you could store an airplane or two, or hold a guests of 100 to few hundred people. You feel what I'm saying? So this is out in the woods. This is in private property, and you got a Freemason lodge, and then you walk across. Say you were in the back of this Freemason lodge, you would walk out down, and say you walk through its backyard, the lodge, and you come across right on. If you walk through the woods, there's this house, right, and it's very cool. Aesthetics to it is okay. Some people may and may not know. There's framing in houses, and there's what they call a witch's hat. Okay, people are gonna know what I'm talking about. It's part of someone's roof, and it looks like a witch's hat, right? So this house has like two witches' hats. It's got all this like funky, funky framing to it, which is in line with Freemasons, their ideology. If you know anything about it, you'll know they replicate what they call, I think, is Boaz and something or other, and there are two pillars, right? And so the two pillars represent like another dimension. You're going into another dimension, whatever, right? So there's a lot of this kind of shit, and this house has got, like I said, it's got this crazy framing to it, way out of the norm. And it's probably the party house for that Freemason lodge, guaranteed. Like I said, it's right on the other side of. It's like across this on the other side of the field from where I'm working, and so it's like 50 yards from the Masons lodge. So it's a guarantee. It's a hangout, their party house, whatever. It's this big, huge house out in the middle of nowhere. Airplane hangar out there. Placed out in the woods where 50 to 100 people could walk around naked and do the craziest shit known to man and get away with it. Like I said, there's a cop that lives on that road. The guy I'm working for, he's in the Air Force or something. He's a government dude. I'm watching, I'm seeing all this kind of we're there for a week, going on 2 weeks, and I'm seeing all these guys coming and going in planes, and I seen some shit that, that you just don't talk about. And it was kind of interesting. Nothing, nothing that could get anybody put in jail or nothing, but just shit that I shouldn't be talking about. But it was very interesting that this airplane hangar's out in the middle of the woods behind this Freemason lodge, and it's interesting. And that picture tells 1,000 words. And right next to the lodge is this little, almost like, say like the president, right? So you got like the White House, then you'd have like this little house outside of the White House, where snipers and shit would hang out. This is the feeling I got. There's this big, huge house with these two witches' hats on the back, and then this little bitty shed next to it. But this little bitty shed is got like this white, complete, perfect triangle, right? And it's sticking out, you know. You look at the house, you can see from far away. This thing sticks out, you know. It's this big pyramid, just little like check-in tower, right? Like envision what I'm getting at. This little sheds and out in the midst of this, just very strange. Could be an outhouse, could be a pisser, could be use your imagination, but it's definitely used for that pyramid. The pyramid's white and it's probably white glossy paint. You can see it from 2 football fields away. You see in the picture. Look at the picture. Look at the details. Look at it's right next to an airplane hangar. Look at the airplane hangar. Look how big it is. Look at its square footage. Look at what's all around it. Nothing. Nothing. So, pretty interesting, you know. Trying to have you have to think and use your imagination on some of this shit too now, right? So, right, this is a private road I'm working on. Like I said, this guy's definitely a Mason. These are all definitely Masons. Right next to a Freemason lodge. This is private property. This is government property. This is one of those kind of deals. Private airplane hangar out in the middle of the woods. Um, you know, the type of shit that, um, not your average Christian. You're not going to catch him that back there. You feel me? You follow. The airplane hangar is very, very crazy. It's very cool. It's cool as hell looking. I so wanted to walk out there and go check it out and talk to some people, yada, yada, yada. Like I said, there's that airplane hangar, and then there's another one next to it, and the one next to it, you can tell is like a private, like, buddy, this guy buddies. It's his, like, they may be friends or whatever, but you can tell like he's got his own hangar and all his shit's like private. The door's just open enough for the plane to come out, fly, go back in. There's literally no room to see anything besides the plane coming out of his hangar. Kind of crazy. I'm just trying to give you the feel for this very, very, I don't even know the word I'm looking for to keep my ass out of trouble, but you see what I'm getting at. So look at the pictures. It tells the story. What I'm trying to say, without saying, there's they call it a forklift back there. There's shit that probably work on planes and probably hold barbecues and huge events and probably have wild, wicked parties. I worked for a doctor one time, and I had to delete the video because it upset my wife. I worked for this doctor, and him and his wife were swingers, and they were bisexual. Can't get all into it. It'll piss my wife off. Um, they were Satanists. So I've learned and found out a lot about that shit through the doctor. A lot about these, get-togethers, gatherings, etc. You catch my drift. So when you pull out of this place that's back in the woods and you come out onto the main road, right across the street, right to the next of it is a Freemason lodge. But right across the street, straight ahead, right on the other side of the street, the Freemason lodge is on the same side of the street as this one, same.